Hello, everyone, and welcome to this new Ringover webinar. So today we're going to see how to customize your Empower solution. So Empower is our AI tool, which is very powerful. You analyze your data and give you insight according to your calls. So it's a very powerful tool, but you need to learn how to customize it. So it would be like a better fit to your company. So I'll just wait a few minutes so a few more people can join us. While we are waiting, let me show you our learning hub. So it's academy.ringover.com. So it's Ringover Academy. It's made for our clients. So you can check this website. You can check all of the learning paths that we have. So we have user, supervisor, and admin. And you can also share this with your team if you have a new member that will be using Ringover. You don't necessarily have the time to coach them. So you can share this website and they can learn how to use Ringover by navigating the learning paths. So it's academy.ringover.com. We're going to share the link by the end of the webinar. Also show you the support page. So it's support.ringover.com. Here you have all of our articles about integrations, number management, the audio quality, IVR. So everything is here. And also have access to our past webinars. So all of the replays of our webinars are here. You can just click and check the video. Let me go back here and I'm going to start the presentation. Let me just turn off my camera so you can see the full view of the presentation. So hello, everyone. Welcome to the Customized Empower webinar. My name is Marcos. I am part of the project advocacy team here at Ringover. I am joined today by Santiago, who's also part of the team, and he's going to be answering all of your questions in the questions tab. So if you have any question during the webinar, feel free to use the questions tab and Santiago will answer you. And we also have a questions and answers session by the end of the webinar. Let's start the presentation. Okay, so today we're going to see how to customize your Empower solution. If you don't need to customize your Empower solution, if you have a default usage of the tool, we already have a webinar on the Empower solution. So we teach you how to properly use it. So check that webinar. This webinar is for those who has an advanced use of Empower and they want to customize the solution, right? So for this webinar, we're going to see 3 different use cases. The first one is the onboarding and compliance. So this is for the managers that want to keep track of the evolution of a new hire. So if you have a new hire in your team, let's say it's a super team, they're going to be receiving calls in the first week after the training, and you need to evaluate if they're getting better, what are the areas for improvement. You can use Empower in order to guide you. So we can check the adoption of the best practice. We can set up a scoring card to evaluate the new agent. We can also set up a customized summary, so we can check all of the key points that we need to check. Empower will analyze the call and show you the key points in a summary that will be completely customized for your activity. And we can also ask Empower to generate a monthly or a weekly report, it doesn't matter, about that user based on that user's calls. We're going to see how to set up this use case during the webinar. The second use case is to prioritize escalations. So let's say you are sales, you have a sales team, they are making outgoing calls, they identify a tension with a client that might want to leave your company. So they need to escalate that that case, so that client, to the level 2. Empower can help you with that. So Empower will automatically detect that there's a conflict with a client, that there's a client that might need an action from a superior, so from level 2 or level 3, and then we're going to set up a workflow. So the call will automatically appear in a folder, a dedicated folder. The manager will receive a notification, and the level 2 will be able to reach the client and try to solve any conflict that might be happening during that period. Let's go to use case number 3. So here we're talking about how to optimize your team's performance. So we're going to check the call quality. We're going to try to find like the top performance team members from your team. So we're going to identify what they are doing correctly, what they're doing that can be shown to the other team members so they can learn how to get better. And also, we can set up a workflow to alert the manager about the calls that might have a potential deal coming next. So we have a client that is manifesting that they want to set up a deal. So the manager receives notification so they can keep in mind that, well, we have a prospect that will soon become a client. So this was a successful call. And this is also a call that we can show to the other team members. So we're going to see these 3 use cases: onboarding, the escalations, and also the top performance of your team. So Empower will help you to keep track of all of these use cases. Let's see the first one. So the first one is onboarding. So we have a new person in our team, and we need to, after each call of this person, we need to have a customized summary that will tell us the key points, so the areas for improvement. So if you check actually our summary right here, I am basically asking in my prompt Empower to generate a summary entirely in uppercase, in bullet points, and the summary needs to be concise and cover the key points, the agent's behaviors, the non-compliant behaviors as well, because they're starting. So we need to keep track of some errors that they might do, and then we need to coach them so they stop doing those errors. The objection handling, rephrasing, important information follow-up. So the summary must be clear, structured, and in bullet points. So this is my prompt, right? I came here to settings, AI customization, summary, and I created a new summary, which I called onboarding. You just need to select the users that will be using this summary. You need to activate the summary, and then you can test it. Either you choose a call from your call log, then you can apply this summary template to the call so you can test to see how it's going to look like, or you can basically ask the AI to generate a preview for you. So this is my preview. This is exactly what I asked Empower to do. I have a summary completely in bullet points. I have all of my key points. It's entirely in uppercase because, well, I have a manager that asked me to write a summary in this style. This is what I asked. This is what Empower gave me. So I have a completely customized summary style for my onboarding team member. Okay, now that I have the summary, which is here, so if I come back here, you're gonna find my summary right here, onboarding. It's activated. I have my users here. You can also, if you want to set the summary style by default for some users, you can click here. you can click here, select the user, and then select the summary style that you want to apply for the user. So you can set the summary style by default for a user. Okay, we are keeping track of the calls that the agent is doing. Now we need to evaluate the calls because, well, they're a new hire. We need to evaluate and coach them so they can get better at their jobs. So we're going to create a scoring card. So once again, settings, AI customization, call scoring coaching, and then I created a new scoring card. So I'm going to just edit my details, and you can come here, webinar support evaluation. This is the name of my scoring card. And then I have my prompt right here. So in my prompt, I used a template that we can share with you. Also, if you check our support page, if you go look for our webinar, so this one, in this page, we're going to share with you a template of a scoring card that looks like this. And we'll advise you to use this template. You can use whatever prompt you want, of course. This is just an advice that we share with you, that you use this kind of template. Basically, here you have a question. So did the agent present the offer clearly? The answer, well, the AI will fill in the answer. The AI will give a score from 1 to 5, and then we're going to have remarks. So this is a good answer, this is a bad answer, this is a comment. It's going to be like this every time. So we're going to have, did the agent rephrase or clarify the client's needs? We're going to have answer, the AI will fill in this information, uh, the score from 1 to 5, the remarks. So this is correct, this is not correct, and this is my comment. By the end of my scoring card, I just want to have an overall score from 1 to 5. This is what the AI will do. So this is the general prompt when it comes to the scoring card. And then you have the objection handling. So you can add some instructions about the objections that the agent might face. And then in Power, we'll compare all of the data that you are sharing here in the objection handling. In Power, we'll compare with the call, the agent's call. And in the comparison between those two information, in Power will give you a score. So from 1 to 5. Also, product knowledge, it's the same thing. So you need to tell Empower something about your service, your product. You can also upload a file, so it can be a PDF or add a text. In my case, I'm basically telling Empower that Ringover is a cloud-based business phone system. And then based on this information, Empower will analyze if the agent presented the project in a good way or not. Or also have script adherence. If they have a script, if you don't use a script in your company, you can just deactivate this option. If you use a script, you can copy paste it. And then Empower will compare the script with the agent's speech during the call. And then we have an evaluation by the end of the call made by Empower. We also have the topic and moment tracker. This is basically a way of tracking keywords that the agent will use during the call. So if they use a certain word, which is mandatory during the call, because you need your agents to be talking about AI, you need your agents to be talking about customer service. If there's a keyword that they need to have in the call that they're going to have with the client, you can insert those keywords here, and then we're going to track the AI will evaluate the call based on those keywords. I'm going to show you just in a few minutes how to create those keywords, which are the moments. But this is where you select the keywords, and then we're going to evaluate if the agent is actually using those keywords or not. You can also specify some negative words, so some words that they should not be using, and they're going to have a bad evaluation if they're using negative words, so words that are forbidden that they shouldn't be using. And then you have conversation skills. This is ready to use, so you can activate or deactivate. And we're going to evaluate the call based on silence, interactions, speech rate, call mood, call closing. Sorry, call mood, not exactly, because this is forbidden in Europe. So we cannot evaluate on call mode in Europe. If you're in the US, maybe you can activate this option, but in Europe, you cannot activate the evaluation based on call mode. But all of the other options, you can activate them for your users if you are in Europe. So this is the call scoring. Once again, we advise you to use a prompt that looks like this, but you can use any prompt you have if you have an experience with prompting. We're going to share with you an example of this prompt style by the end of the webinar, and you can also find it here in the support page, in the webinar page. Okay, so now we have a scoring card. We're going to have a summary from the call. We're going to have an evaluation of the call. So we're keeping track of the evolution of the new hire, and then we can set up a workflow. So the workflow is here, always in the setting, always in AI customization. What's going to happen is I'm gonna set up a condition. Based on this condition, I'm gonna set up actions. If you're not used to workflows, this is how they work. You set up a condition. When that condition happens, you will set up an action. So this will trigger an action, and then an action will happen. So it's automatic. You don't need to do anything. So this condition and action cadence will happen automatically. So you don't need to worry about doing that manual task. In this workflow here, I'll just ask my agent, so since it's their first week, to add the tag training level 1 and then training today. So I asked them to use one of these two tags every time they finish a call. So it's their first week. Every time they finish a call, they will set up this tag right here. Since they are a new user, I can also set up call from a certain user, and then I can set up Alicia. It's Alicia's first week, so if I set up all of the calls from Alicia, they should fall into this category. So they will trigger this workflow. Of course, when Alicia will be a confirmed member of her team, we need to take her off this workflow because she will not be a new hire anymore. But during the first week, she can be included in the workflow as a user. And then every time she makes a call, the workflow will trigger. And what's going to happen? The call will be added to a folder. So me as a manager, I can find the call more easily. I will change the summary style. So the summary style will be the webinar onboarding, the summary style that I just created. So this one. And then I'm going to change the scoring card. So I'm going to use this scoring card right here. This, of course, is for the clients that have more than one summary style, right? If you only have one summary style, you're going to use that one summary style by default. If you have multiple summary styles or multiple scoring cards, then you want to set up a workflow, because in that way, you're going to change, you're going to adapt the summary style and the scoring card according to what is happening, according to the user, according to the tag. So this is how you customize your summary style and your scoring card. The last action that we're going to do for the use case of a new hire is ask Empower to make us a report. So it's the first week. You want to know if the agent is making good calls, how is the agent going. You can basically ask Empower based on the call. So here I just asked Empower to filter by this agent because this is my new agent. In order to filter, you just do at, so at here, and you're going to have all of the filter options. In this case, my filter is agent, and then you can look for the agent. In my case, I'm looking for Chris, and then I just ask Empower to make a report. Asking Power analyze the call. So let's say it's the first week of this agent, and I have my report right here. You can also continue the conversation with asking Power, right? Based on the response, you can ask more details, you can ask something else. So this feature right here is very powerful because it can analyze all of your calls, all of your data, and give you all of the insights that you need. So in order to ask Empower something, let's say I'm here in the call logs, you're gonna have the icon right here. So this icon right here, just click here and you can make any questions that you want. Okay, so let's go to the next use case, which is the escalation. So let me show you the moments creation. So remember I told you about the keywords. So we're gonna have keywords that are gonna be applying to your Empower solution. So Empower can analyze the call and tell you every time an agent is talking about a certain topic. So in my case, I want to know every time there's a conflict with a client. So every time the client's talking about misunderstanding, disagreement, confrontation, negotiation, tension, boundaries, and resolution, every time the client uses one of these keywords, I want this moment, which is basically an automatic tag, to be assigned to the call. So let me just edit the details. You can come here, you can add keywords based on any language. So let's say French, I'm gonna tell them attention, generate keywords. The AI would generate keywords, and then I can basically choose any of the keywords and add it to the moment. I'm not going to do this because this is a moment that I want to keep in English. But basically, you just choose a language and ask the AI to give you some hints of keywords. You can also add manually directly any keyword that you want. You can choose a name for your moment, a color, and an emoji. And very important, so this is something that you need to pay attention. You need to choose who we are keeping track of. So is it the agent? Is it the client? Or is it both? Because this is going to change the behavior of your automatic tag, right? If it's the agent, then only when the agent says one of these keywords, you're going to trigger the moment. Or only when the client says one of the keywords, you're going to trigger the moment. Or it can be both. So it depends on how you want your automatic tag to behave. And you need to assign the users that will be using this automatic tag. Okay, so this automatic tag is created every time someone says one of these keywords. I'm going to see, you see right here, I have an automatic tag right here. Well, let's check this one. So as you can see right here, I have an automatic tag. This is the keyword that was mentioned by the agent. So if I click here, I am taken to the exact moment where the agent said that keyword. So this is how the moments will work. Okay, now that we set up the keywords, we can also create a workflow. So I'm gonna call it escalated to level 2. I can check the keywords. So the keywords are frustration, tension, disagreement, and confrontation. Every time my client says one of these keywords, I will trigger these actions, and these actions are the call will be added to the folder escalate level 2. So level 2, they have the mission of checking this folder every morning. So they're going to see the call in the folder, and I'm going to change the summary style. So I'm going to use the escalate level 2 summary style. So I just created also a summary style for this use case. So if I check here, I have a summary style which is customized for the escalation calls. So calls with clients that might be angry, that might be having a conflict with our service. So this is how my workflow will work. So I have my escalation level 2. They will say the keywords. I will add the call to the folder, and I will change the summary style. I can also ask Empower based on the call. So I can, since I know that this agent just had a call with this client is angry, I can come here, I can filter by the client. So I just need the client's name, or I can filter by the agent as well. And I'm gonna ask Empower to generate preparation for the next call that I'm gonna have with this client or with any difficult client. I'm gonna ask Empower based on the call with this client that was frustrated or angry to help me prepare for the next call so I can follow the instructions. These are the typical conflicts that this client is talking about. Why is this client frustrated? What can I do to help this client? So all of these objections that might appear during the conversation with this client, Asking Power is telling me about it, so I can be prepared. I can prepare myself for my next conversation with this client. So let's go to the third use case. So the third use case is the top performers of your team. So you have that team member that is selling, that is making deals one after the other, and you want to take these team members as an example for all the others, and you want to check what is he doing right, how is he getting to set all of these deals with clients. So first of all, we're going to set up flags. Flags are just a visual notification that you can have that will help you to identify the call types that you're going to have. So they can be red flags. So let's say a client is telling you that they're not happy. So this will activate a red flag, or the client is manifesting an interest in buying your solution. So that could be a red flag. In my case, my red flag is called deal. So that means that the client is interested in the solution. This is my red flag, my green flag. Okay, now that I have my green flag, which is deal, I can set up also a framework analysis. This is a new way of evaluating the call. So we have the call scoring, and we also have the framework. If you work in sales, you know this framework already. We have the BANT, all of the other ones. We have the SPICE as well. So if you click here, you're going to have the situation, pain, impact. You just need to edit the details, and then you can insert any instructions so that the AI will know what are we talking about, the situation, the pain, the impact. You just need to customize it a little bit, but other than that, we're following the spiced framework. And if you want to bring your own framework, you can. So you can click here and you can set up any metric that you want. So it can be 1, 2, 3, 4 metrics, and we're going to evaluate the call based on this framework right here. So we're going to set up that in order to understand what this team member, who is a high performer, is doing right. So let's go to the next step of our use case, which is setting up a workflow as well. So in this case, I'm basically asking the AI to analyze the interaction and to tell me why this call is a call from a top performing and what are they doing right. So what are the actions that these agents are doing that makes them a top performer. So we're gonna ask the AI to do that for us. So every time a call is considered as a top performer, and these are the instructions, right? The customer is just expressing that they want to purchase the solution. The customer is ready to move to the next sales step. So every time one of these steps or all of these steps are met, we're going to trigger the action. So let's take a look at the action. So the action is my green flag right here, the green flag that I created. So this means that the client is ready to set up a deal. I can also change my summary style. So I'm going to have a summary style that will give me a list of all of the actions that this agent took that can be considered as good actions that led the client to purchase the solution. I can also add the call to a folder. So in this case, it's going to be business. So that means that I can have access to all of these calls in the business folder, and I can check everything that this client did well and share it with the other team members. And I also want to receive an email. Actually, I want to receive an email about um, all of the times that a client is interested in the solution. So this is a notification that I can receive every time that this workflow is triggered. And actually, let me come back here. For the escalation, you can also set up a notification, which can be a Slack notification. So you can receive a Slack message every time you have a call that needs to escalate. So it can be an email and it can be also a Slack message. You can set up these two types of notifications every time your workflow is triggered. And last but not least, we can once again ask Empower to help us with something. So in this case, I'm asking Power based on these user calls, based on this call with this client, how can I prepare for my next negotiation? So I'm ready to set up a deal with a client, but it's not sure yet. I have a last call with the client before they are ready to purchase the solution. So I want to be prepared. I want to prepare myself before buying the solution. So I can come here and ask Empower to help me to prepare for my next uh, call with this client so we can set up a deal. So once again, you can ask Empower to do that. And one last thing, when you have a call that you want to use as an example for all of the other users, you can come here, you click on a call, you have the call details, you can click here, the snippet, and you can create a snippet of the call. So you can select like a moment of the call that you find particular successful, and you can basically set up a name, save it. You can add it to a library. And then you have your snippet right here that you can use in coaching sessions that you can share with the other team members. So this was our last use case. So we saw onboarding, we saw escalation, and we saw the top performers. So how to identify your high performance in your team. So let me just come back here to my presentation. And if you don't have any questions, thank you for coming. Thank you for participating. Uh, I wish you a wonderful day, and I'll see you maybe soon in the next webinar. Thank you all.